A very good evening and welcome to this week's edition of Times Exclusive, airing on Times Network. I'm Brian Banda, your host. The program tonight is coming to you courtesy of Rainbow Paints.
Weather Shield, another brand from Rainbow Paints. This is Ultimate. An extreme high-performance acrylic smooth textured finishing with ultraviolet absorption and maximum flexibility properties for wall finishes. A built-in fungicide to resist molds. Simple to use, quick drying, water-resistant binding power, low dirt retention, and hides hairline cracks. Suitable for use on all exterior walls, be it plaster, concrete, or brickwork. Available in a wide range of colors in 5 and 20-liter containers. Contact us today in Blantyre 01841-813, 01841-871, Lilongwe 01755-901. Email info@rainbowpaints.biz. Rainbow Paints. Peace of mind, part of the deal.
My guest in this edition of the program is the Honorable Minister of Information and Communication Technology, Honorable Nicholas Dausi. Honorable Dausi, thank you very much for joining us tonight in Times Exclusive.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We are honored that you are able to come and join us in this discussion tonight.
Thank you so much.
First of all, congratulations for being appointed the Minister of Information and Communication Technology. Did you expect something big of this magnitude?
No, I think the first thing is to sing the song that Mother Mary once said, which we call the Magnificat, which says that my heart exalts God, for he has done wonders to me. May his name be glorified. And also to thank the President, Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, for bestowing upon me this singular honor of serving as a cabinet minister in the government. I want to say that I'll do everything to the best of my ability. As Booker Talia Fallow Washington, president of Tuskegee College, once said, whatever you do, do everything to the best of your ability. That I'll try to do.
Do you understand what it means to be the information minister? It's a position that you have never held before. You're also coming at a time when a number of cabinet ministers who have held this similar position have been dismissed willy-nilly. Does that create worry to you as the incumbent Minister of Information?
3 questions.
Yes.
Whether I understand to be a cabinet minister, and the unfair description of cessation of cabinet portfolio by my predecessor ministers, and then the issue of willy-nilly. I think let me address the question of understanding. Government, in the constitutional democracy, bestows upon set of legal principalities or prerogatives that vest the president with power to appoint a cabinet minister. And the cabinet minister, according to the British tradition, is that in the early days of the Tudors and the Stuarts of the United Kingdom or England, there used to be what they used to call the Magnum Concilium. The Magnum Concilium was composed of people of various talents and credentials that will help the realm in running the government. And that is about taxation, economics. So those people gave advice. They were seen as counselors of the king. And I think from William Pitt, who's supposed to be William Walpole, and then William Pitt, the first prime ministers, up to date, the cabinet is seen to be the Great Council, the Magnum Concilium, that advised the president of various fields. So I may not be able to say that I understand, because it's difficult to analyze oneself. But I will try, as I've said, that following the job description and the mandate conferred upon the ministry itself, the question is reading, understanding them, and making sure that the political supervision is there. Government is also made of principal secretaries, technocrats at the ministry, who will help me to make sure that I've gone through the right apprenticeship and achieve what the common man and the populace would want the ministry to do. And that I think I'll definitely try to do to the best of my ability.
Do you want to answer the other part of my question? There have been cabinet ministers, 3 cabinet ministers, if my memory serves me well, in a space of 3 years. Does that worry you?
Well, whether they were 10 or 20, the question is, I have great respect of my predecessor ministers. They served well, but apparently, to be fair with me, it will be unethical for me to judge them. Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mills, the classical utilitarians of ethics and morality and politics, says the intention of politics is the maximization of happiness. And I think the predecessor ministers have tried to do as per Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mills, the classical utilitarian, entails and espoused. So I think I'll be in the right steps.
Others might say that this is probably the last way to deal with you. What President Peter Mutharika is trying to do is to push you in the corner so that you make mistakes there and he gets rid of you. Is that a fair analogy?
It is extremely unfair, erroneous, wrong, malafide. It's not good, because I think serving a cabinet minister is the greatest opportunity one can have. And it's a great honor, as I've said. So the service, in any case, cabinet ministers are supposed to do within the confines and dictates and within the confines of the law. So doing everything the best with the guidance and direction of the president, as I've told you. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's pushing a code. In fact, it's a great honor. You have also said that he has given me a top-notch job. And why are you turning around now to say, no, you're pushing out the corner?
No, considering that people that have held this position have been pushed away. So is President Mutharika trying to deal with you?
We are not here as legal litigants of what has happened previously. Mm-hmm. I think dwelling in the past will be what lesser careerist politician could do. I may not do that. I think a springboard for better achievement is to look forward with zeal and see that what should we do for the service of the people. As St. Thomas Aquinas once said, any position, the service of the people, is for the common good. That was a mixture, by the way, mm-hmm. of Aristotelian law of human nature and the theological concepts in Summa theology.
Now, how are you getting on with the new job as an information minister? Have you gotten the grasp of the job?
Not necessarily getting the grasp of the job,
mm-hmm.
but learning is a continuous process. Experience is gotten as we move forward. And I believe that on-the-job training, understanding what the minister would want us to do. So I think we are still moving forward. For example, I must thank you. You have called me for this interview. Mm-hmm. It's a learning process. Mm-hmm. Because Socrates once said, I am wise because I know I'm foolish. When you realize that you may not know something, is when you learn more. So it's a learning process.
Do you think there are areas to improve in as far as the ministry is concerned? Others have said that in the era that we are living in, do we really need the Minister of Information?
In fact, in the era and the period and within the context of this time, the Ministry of Information, Communication, Technology is extremely one of the most important ministries. We are going through ICT advancement, some fantastic electronic gadgetry that ancient people never dreamed could have existed, have been invented. The way of communication has turned now. There is a question of cyber security that we must grasp. And then there is also a question of relaying the message to the populace to understand government developments. And that's the role of the Minister of Information. Can we say that it's irrelevant? No, it answers to the present time, and it is irrelevant indeed to have a ministry.
It is getting increasingly disturbing that your government is becoming what others can call intolerant. Anybody who disagrees with this government is considered an enemy and must be dealt with. The deputy mayor of Lilongwe has been in hiding. The MP for Nzuzu City has been in hiding. Why is the government creating all these fears amongst its people?
I don't think it's a fair description of the government. In any case, the Democratic Progressive Party, the government that has been formed by the Democratic Progressive Party under the leadership and tutelage of President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, is the most tolerant, a mix of moderation and maturity of a government. There is no question of political antagonism, cutthroat, rough house of politics. I think the scenarios or the incidents you have enumerated or elaborated are incidents that are happening after an election, possibly. That's what you mean. I don't have documented, substantive, undisputed evidence to that effect. All what I can assure Malawians is that the government will continue to create an entente cordiale with everybody as regards to how best people can live.
Is this government progressive in nature?
Extremely progressive.
How can it be progressive when people begin to speak against this government? They are attacked willy-nilly. And sometimes there are signs of witch hunting with this government.
Witch hunting?
Yes.
Attacked willy-nilly. I don't think that is descriptive, honest qualification of this government. I think you could have said this government is one of the most tolerant. Look, we are here. But if, and that is if, you have any instances that you can put to the government's attention that they were ABCD, we definitely see ourselves as navigators enveloped in a heavy storm and want to keep our course, and certainly the horizon must clear, and that will definitely do. So do you have some specific incidents? If you can address them, then definitely.
Civil society leaders have been attacked. People that speak for others have been, stories have been created just to tarnish their image. Is that the responsibility of a responsible government?
When people make wild, unsubstantiated allegations, when people create unnecessary lies, conjectures, and innuendos, when people come on TV and make extreme allegations against a president which are not correct,
yes,
do you think we should sit back and say, go ahead, or we have a role to clear those misconceptions and misperceptions? And
you're using the right word. The way that government should behave is to clear.
Yes,
but what we have seen, it's not clearing, it's attacks.
No, it's clear.
Should a democratic government attack its own people?
That in fact, this government's role is to clear all misconception, make the necessary aspersion, make sure that we have answered all that has questionable instincts on the people's intention or the people's public opinion. Criticisms, allegations, accusations, opinion, intuition, repugnant, it can be. It's the role of the government to create an impression and clear all.
And I'm just telling you that a responsible government does not fight.
That's what we are.
I'm just telling you.
That's what we are.
Do you want to listen to me?
That's what we are.
Do you want to listen to me?
I am, but I want to.
I'm just telling you that a responsible government does not fight its own people.
We have never fought our own people. In fact, we appreciate any contribution from various sectors of our government, including members of civil society, including the media, including all other people. We have a role to talk, discuss, so that we create that mist of mistrust and build confidence.
A lot of people that I've interviewed in this program and in other forums, the leader of opposition, for example, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, and other panelists that have appeared in the show that I host here, have time and again said that President Peter Mutharika has failed in governing this country.
I'm happy you brought that. The leader of opposition, maybe if you can allow me,
yes,
there is a book written by Banda, Unwritten British Constitution, 4th edition, page number 210. The role of Her Majesty's opposition. It says, and I quote, the role of the leader of opposition, according to Benjamin Disraeli, is to create and to give alternative policies after criticizing, give alternative policies as to how best they think a problem or a situation can be resolved. Not only for standing up, make unnecessary political rhetoric. You have failed. Yes. Can you say after you say you have failed, what is it? Give alternative. Have they given you? Have they failed? Or simply they want to have to whip a psychological tide against the government? What sort of failure? It must be qualified.
They have said that President Peter Mutharika
have they given alternative?
Can I just finish? They have said, and this has not come only from Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, but other people that I've interviewed. They have said that President Peter Mutharika has failed in governing this country. He is failing to control corruption amongst his own people and cabinet. He is failing to provide the basic amenities to this country. A bag of maize, for example. Last year, it was bought 5,600. Today, it is 12,500. Do you think President Mutharika is being fair to his own people?
Well, you have said that
yes,
the president,
yes,
in you are very unfair and unjustified. And
what is unfair? What is unfair in that question?
Because those judgment. Let me explain.
Yes,
you have said.
Yes,
in your view,
yes,
there's a morass of corruption. MORASS, a morass of corruption.
Yes,
you are describing us as ruling by profligacy, lethargical, incompetence, maladministration. That is not correct. In fact, this government has cream of some intellectuals, the people that would guide Malawi to the heights of development. Now let me go back to develop on issue of corruption. The question of maize. While we appreciate that the past year we had experienced drought, floods, Cashgate, the donor flight, I thought you come back, you Brian, and say that at least the World Bank has brought back the extended credit facility that was it.
But is it being felt on Malawi?
Let me tell you what. When we solve the problem in government, we solve it from the source, not from the results. We are solving problem from the source. You know what? You know a toothpaste. When you have a toothpaste, you press it at the middle, it gives you a toothpaste. But the best place will start from the bottom so that you solve that problem. The issue of corruption that you are saying has been blown out of proportion because of the following. For example, the question of maize. We procured maize from Zambia and other countries at a very higher price. That maize is supposed to be sold and the credit sent back to PTA Bank. And at the time of procurement, there was nobody taking 500 or 200 million in the bank and say, I'm going to buy maize. It's a line of credit. It's from PTA Bank to Reserve Bank.
But where
there's nobody carrying bags like this.
It doesn't matter.
No,
but where, how can a responsible government,
as we are,
if you call yourself responsible,
we are responsible.
Okay.
Yes.
How can a responsible government sit in a boardroom and decide to raise the price of milk?
It's not. That's wrong.
Yes.
That's where you are going wrong.
Okay.
It's not a question of sitting down in a boardroom, drink over capital and say, gentlemen, let's raise the amount of maize. We can't do that. There are factors that makes commercial factors that has come out to pass so that the maize price is encouraged.
If your government was responsible, it would have said, okay, the maize is going to, the price of maize is going to rise. what we should do is let's get away with some of the things that we use. For
And
example,
which are these ones?
like, why should President Peter Mutharika have a 15 vehicle convoy?
It's not true.
Why should President
It's not
Mutharika
true.
buy an expensive car
It's not
at
true.
a time when people are struggling to get food?
In fact,
Okay.
those are very unfair. And by the way,
Yes.
do you know what? The presidential convoy has been there since 1990.
No, I have seen that. I have seen that of
Yes.
late. It has changed. There are new vehicles on the convoy.
There's only one vehicle.
No, that's not true. That's
Only
not-
one.
Honorable
Only one.
Dausi,
I
can challenge you.
Only
That's
one.
not true.
It's only one.
That's not true.
If you want, okay.
Yes.
Do you know what happened during the aircraft? The
Yeah, but you
aircraft?
cannot come here.
This is the mentality. Wait a minute.
Honorable
This is the
Dausi,
mentality.
Honorable
that Malawi
Dausi,
will not
you
develop.
cannot come on a national television and tell us that President Peter Mutharika has not changed his convoy.
He only changed
Because
one.
we see it. We see
No,
it.
it's not true, because what you say
Yes.
is not correct. In fact, this is the mentality that Malawi never developed. Let me tell you.
Yes.
During Kamu's time, we
Yes.
had 5 helicopters, a presidential jet. 1975, down the line, we don't have a presidential jet. Because you people, including you, Brian, are not fair to the nation. You give unnecessary news, wrong, erroneous, bad, in bad faith, just to make sure that you have created a national site that the people should rise, raise discontent and disaffection, and then what is your mission? It's not. Do you think, in your view, a president of the republic should be walking around? Is that what you
No,
want?
the vehicle that he was using
Yeah,
before
well,
he bought the infamous one was not a bad car at all.
Well, let me tell you,
Yes.
there was an incident
Yes.
in Kasum.
Yes.
That car developed with a 4
Yes.
presidential convoy was on the road. You want that embarrassment? Now, let me tell you one
Yes.
thing.
No, but what you are telling me, it's not answering my question.
It's true. I'm telling what
No.
is true.
Do you think at a time when we are begging for food, okay? At a time when
we are
begging,
not begging? Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
we have just called the donor community to help us
wait a
feed
minute.
ourselves.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Are you telling me
Yes,
that
yes.
because you want to have something, a sort from your neighbor,
Yes.
you go to that neighbor naked? Is that what you're telling
No,
me? Okay, fine. No, answer my question.
Yes,
Do
yes.
you want, because you
Yes.
want to get a sort from your neighbor, you come from your house naked and go there, just know that, hey, I am poor. Look at me. Is that what you want?
No, but the donors are laughing at us.
They are not.
They are laughing at us.
They have not.
At a time when we are. Can I just finish? Can I be heard? Can I be heard? Can I be heard? Honorable Minister, with due respect, can I be heard? At a time when we are asking for food, at a time when we are saying we don't have food, the head of state and government buys the state-of-the-art vehicle.
That's wrong.
Is that fair?
Let me correct you.
Yes.
Don't speak on behalf of the donors. If the donors were complaining, if the donors had a problem, they could not have said Malawi has now embarked on a physical and financial discipline. There is prudence in the way we are running our fiscal policies. And that's why the World Bank has qualified us for the extended credit facility. Secondly, for the first time since 1964, President Arthur Peter Mutharika has encountered one of the most terrible calamities ever registered in this country. Drought, flood, cash gate, donor flight. How do you expect? But we have managed to develop the country. So, as a country and as a people, as you have said, the issue comes back to maize. If you go around this time, go to Rizulu, Ngabu, post store in Karonga, go to Lupembe, go to Chirambo in Rumpi, all over the country, Chisabo in Rongo. In the market days, have you ever gone to Rizulu?
No.
Hey, wait a minute.
No,
Do
you
want me to say, or you have called me just to listen for you?
No.
By the way,
Yes.
if you have called me just to listen for you,
Yes.
I can go.
I am listening to you.
No,
I am
listen.
listening to you.
Keep quiet.
But I will not
Listen.
allow
Listen.
as a broadcaster and as a host of this show, I will not allow you to ramble around
No,
the question.
no,
You're just rambling around the
I will
question.
not allow.
How can a competent government, Honorable Minister, sit down? You're not answering that question. Sit down and say, let's raise the price of maize.
I have answered, and by the way,
At a time when half of the population is struggling to
Malawian,
get food.
listen.
Yes.
Malawian, listen.
Yes.
Banda, you are not a propagandist.
I
You
am
have
not.
called me
I'm not.
for propaganda
Yeah,
issues.
but you
There is no question, Malawians, that a government can sit down and say, I am saying this is a credit from PTA Bank. It has to be paid back
Yes.
on terms of payment.
Yes.
Now, we got that payment.
Yes.
We buy the maize.
Yes.
We said, forget about transport.
Yes.
Forget about other procurement
Yes.
issues.
Yes.
Only the price we have to pay.
Yes.
That's what we are doing.
Now, if-
and
if-
I am saying,
if there was an overflow-
do you want to listen to me?
Okay.
Or I listen to you?
I'm going to listen.
We are saying,
Yes.
because of these factors,
Yes.
the base price will be 12,000
Yes.
per 50 kg. But there are remedial cushioning measures that we have put in place, Malawians. There are remedial cushioning measures.
The question that I want you to answer is, if you knew that if we buy maize from either Zambia or whatever it is, and that the maize is going to triple in or double in price, what did you do? Because a responsible government could have said, okay, we'll cushion the people. We'll still sell it at 5,600 or 7,000, for example, and we'll do away with all other pleasantries that we are enjoying.
Okay.
Yes.
I want to create a very correct version, not the correct version that you have created, and Malawians have been misled by those long, erroneous statements. The right version is this one. I am saying the line of credit from the PTA Bank for the government to buy 100,000 metric tons of maize. Only 34,000 metric tons of maize has been bought. And there is no one that has been paid to Zambia Cooperation Federation. Until all the 100,000 metric tons has been paid. The question of saying that we have already buy maize is not true. It's not correct. But that as it may, the government is also distributing free maize to the most vulnerable families in the country. On top of that, there is a program of food for work and cash transfer for the poorest and the less fortunate and the less privileged people that we are doing. I can show you the data and the documentation.
You can show me the
those
data.
are cushion
You can show me the data. You can show me everything.
Wait a minute.
But the bottom line remains
wait a minute.
that maize,
No, wait a
a
minute.
bag of maize,
Wait a minute.
is selling at 12,500.
That what I'm saying is
Yes.
the remedial cushioning measure is that when somebody has got that money, apart from receiving free maize, he will also be able to buy not necessarily the whole 50 kg. He can buy 2 kg, 4 kg, 5 kg as per the pocket power is requires. So it's not you saying, oh no, this government, and not only that. I want to thank World Food Program, World Bank, American government, and the China government for giving us to distribute free food. We have done so. Are those not, please Malawians, are those not cautionary remedial measures?
The best cushion this government could have done is to maintain the price of maize as it was selling last year.
I hope, Brian.
But we have to take a break. We have to take a break. Thank you very much. In case you're just joining us, this is Times exclusive, airing on Times Television. I'm your host, Brian Banda. In this edition of the program, I'm talking to the Minister responsible for Information and Communication Technology, Honorable Nicholas Dausi. The program tonight is coming to you courtesy of Rainbow Paints. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
Weather Shield, another brand from Rainbow Paints. This is Ultimate. An extreme high-performance acrylic smooth textured finishing with ultraviolet absorption and maximum flexibility properties for wall finishes. A built-in fungicide to resist molds. Simple to use, quick drying, water-resistant binding power, low dirt retention, and hides hairline cracks. Suitable for use on all exterior walls, be it plaster, concrete, or brickwork. Available in a wide range of colors in 5 and 20-liter containers. Contact us today in Blantyre 01841-813, 01841-871, Lilongwe 01755-901. Email info@rainbowpaints.biz. Rainbow Paints. Peace of mind, part of the deal.
In case you're just joining us, welcome aboard. This is Times exclusive, airing on Times Television. I'm your host, Brian Banda. The program tonight is coming to you courtesy of Rainbow Paints. In this edition of the program, I'm talking to the Honorable Minister of Information and Communication Technology, Honorable Nicholas Dausi. Welcome back to the other half of the program.
Thank you.
I still hope that you are still loving me.
It's not a question of loving, but it's a question of, as government, to create some misconception that has been afloat across the country. And I thank you for inviting the government to tell the story.
To wrap up the maize issue, you are telling me that there is free distribution of maize going on in the country?
There is free distribution of maize, of free maize across the country. In parts that are heavily affected, Sanje, Chikwawa, Kota, Karonga. There are those, according to Malawi Vulnerability Assessment Group, they know where there's extremely poverty and where they're
talking about corruption, there is no indication, Honorable Minister, that your government, other than clearing the cases of Cashgate that happened in 2013, this government is, the impression that we're getting is that it's not serious about fighting corruption. ACB has taken no action on the 13 files of corruption in the 577 billion kwacha Cashgate. It is also alleged that the government has no interest in having those cases see the light of the day. Why is one Cashgate less important than the other?
I think that's not correct. That's not true. This government, under Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, is making sure that corruption is fought tooth and nail collectively as a country. As regards to specific case statements, as regards to specific occurrences, I want to say that the question of 13 files, I hope you heard that the Public Accounts Committee, the Auditor General, I think in liaison with the Director of Public Prosecution and the Anti-Corruption Bureau are taking national measures to make sure that whoever is responsible for the plunder, looting of a government or state coffers is brought before the law. And not only that, we have always said, if there are any Malawians who have evidence pointing to corruption, please let's help the Anti-Corruption Bureau bring those evidence. Because let me tell you the classic example. During the Mwanza murders case, the first days made in April 23, on April 23, 1994, there were a lot of people at the High Court dancing songs, castigating Kamuzu in left and right. But the judge or the defense team said, and that's what the judge agreed, forget about whether people will talk anything or whatever they can say. The court of law make determination on 3 factors: matters of law, matters of facts, and matters as circumstantial evidence.
Do you want to answer my question? Is President your government?
I want you to understand, because you are one of the people that are misleading Malawians. You, Brian.
Me misleading Malawians?
Misleading with your statements that is so persuasive to the people that when they hear that Brian is there, the people believe that this man is saying the truth. Are you a preacher, by the way? Because the way, are you? Do you want to become Bongo or Graham? Do you want to be an... Because that's and not only you.
Yes.
You have your friend. Where's that person? George Kasagu. You wrong people. You make some persuasive arguments, even unsubstantiated, to put the government in disarray. That is wrong.
Do you want to answer my question?
Let me answer the question.
Yeah, do you want to, the question, I have the question. The question is President Peter Mutharika going to act on the 13 files? We hear of 7 cabinets. We hear of 7 cabinets.
Let me remind you.
Can I just finish?
Let me remind you.
You don't have to remind me. I know what I'm talking about. The question is President Peter Mutharika going to act on the 7 cabinet ministers?
Let me remind you.
Yes.
The Constitution of the Republic of Malawi created independent bodies to make sure that they...
But you have weakened. You have weakened the...
We have not weakened them.
The ACB is toothless as we speak right now.
Okay.
Yes.
Can SCB be truthful?
Yes.
When there are cases that have been
give me an
prosecuted?
example. Give me an example.
Have
Of
you
what, there are no new cases. I have given an example. No new cases that SCB is fighting.
Yes, in fact, SCB
Yes.
has a lot of cases to prosecute.
Okay.
Between you and me,
Yes.
if you do something, if they're going to arrest you, they can arrest me.
Yes.
So they are doing something.
Are you one of the 7 cabinet ministers? Yes or no?
But wait a minute.
Are you one of the 7 cabinet
Let me
ministers?
answer you
Yes.
about the issue of the presidency.
Yes.
You are saying the president
Yes.
is not doing anything.
Yes.
I am telling you, Banda, the president is not there to go around become a policeman, a judge, a juror, a prosecutor, an SCB. No, that's not the role of the president. This is a constitutional government, whose roots are rooted in the rule of law, where there's natural justice. The president cannot just walk away. You arrest this one. Hey, I've read. No, it doesn't make like that.
There are people in
You
government.
want him to do that?
Honorable Minister.
You want to go back
Honorable
to the
Minister.
test? Yes.
Honorable Minister.
Yes.
There are people in government. 5 years ago, they were asking for a 5,000 kwacha fuel, for example. Today, they have become millionaires, billionaires. They are able to give donations of 25 million kwacha in nature. Where are people in your government getting the money?
Your question is, are you doing anything for corruption? The answer is yes. Your question is SCB trying to probe each and every question.
No, that's not my question. That's not my
Yes,
question.
I'm answering
No,
this.
that's not my question.
But because
That is not, I'm just reminding you, that is not my question. The question is, there are people in government, cabinet ministers, that have become millionaires overnight.
I'm hearing
Where are they getting the money?
I'm hearing from you. If I were a policeman,
Yes.
if I were a juror and SCB,
Yes.
but bring evidence, by the way, if you have those evidence. But for you and me at this interview to start becoming some prosecutors, investigation people, or SCB people, will that be fair? Do you want to?
Are you going to answer this question?
Can you answer my question?
Are you going
Do you
to
want
answer
a
this
minister to become a policeman and SCB? Is that what
Are
you
you
want?
going? The question
Because
is,
the
there
constitution
are
allows
people
that.
in government, there are cabinet ministers that have become filthy rich overnight.
But-
Where are they getting the money?
But do you want a cabinet minister like me to become a policeman and answer the question that the director of public prosecution
I
can
respect
do
the
that?
fact that you're not going to answer that.
No,
question.
I have answered
Can
you.
we move on?
I have asked because those are conjectures. Those are mere pointers.
Conjectures?
Conjecture, annuendo, bad faith, malafide, wrong,
malafide?
erroneous. Yes.
Malafide?
There is no.
So that there are people in government,
In bad
that there are
faith.
cabinet ministers that have become millionaires overnight.
give them-
It's malafide.
Now, give evidence to the ICB. Have you given evidence to SCB?
You-
Brian?
you-
Have you? No, answer my
Can I
question.
move on?
Have you given
You have
evidence?
just told me that we're talking about malafide.
Yes, in bad faith, in bad faith.
Okay, so can we move on?
But I want to say that
Yes.
this government will make sure that anybody who is found stealing government property, the law must take its course. Let's bring evidence and make sure.
Honorable Minister, before your appointment as the Minister of Information,
Yes.
you were the Director General of the National Intelligence Bureau. It was during your tenure that Mr. Njaunju from the Anti-Corruption Bureau was murdered. Fingers have appointed at the National Intelligence Bureau. Do you know anything on the death of Mr. Njaunju of Anti-Corruption Bureau?
The ethics and integrity and the rules of that office demands no speak, no talk. I have no comment because that's the ethics. People make unnecessary conclusions, but I think I would uphold the ethics of the office. And if you can bear with me, let me reserve my comment.
Are your hands clean?
According to the tradition, the rules of that profession, I think it's better for me to keep quiet.
Are your hands clean, Honorable Minister?
I think I would rather keep silent on that one.
The regulator, Malawi Communications Regulatory Authority, MACRA, has been heard on the private media. If Kamulepo Kalua gives an interview on Times Television or Zodiac, MACRA comes in to bounce on us. If MBC is allowed to go scot-free, MBC day in and day out, they are attacking people, and it's late scot-free. Do you think MACRA, as a regulator, is being fair?
Well, to be fair with you, I have listened to all interviews, including the statement by Honorable Kamulepo Kalua, Member of Parliament for Rump East. And by the way, I know him better than you do. He's my friend. But you have listened the statement by Honorable Kamulepo Kalua. extreme statement. Very wild allegation is dangerous. Control him.
But they are also dangerous statements. They are also dangerous.
Wait a minute.
They are also dangerous
You know
statements.
what? You know what?
Coming in from Malawi Broadcasting Corporation.
In Parliament.
Yes.
And outside.
Yes.
He makes a statement that even your conscience know that I think this is below the belt, overboard. I don't want to sanctify and render credence to statements that, in my view, do not match the nobility that I so much cherish. I don't want to render credence to them.
My question is the regulator playing a fair game?
That I can ask.
Yes.
The question is,
yes.
That's why I'm saying,
yes.
Please, Times, if you have anybody doing the interview and you know that he has gone overboard, it is incumbent upon you to control that interview so that you still render the credibility and the credits that Times is known. You must know that Times, during Banda time, people look at him as a man, as a newspaper of moderation.
You are not, with due respect, you are not answering the question.
I want to tell you, I must tell you, Times is a news, used to be known as news of moderation, mature.
That does not answer my question.
But don't allow people to make unnecessary aspersions, wild allegations, unsubstantiated, mere dangerous statements. It's not good for the country. It's not good for the
President
nation.
Peter Mutharika.
So,
President Peter Mutharika.
Wait a minute, let me answer.
We don't have much time. We don't have much time.
My answer is
yes.
Makla, as minister responsible,
yes,
I'll make sure that Makla is fair, justifiable, confined within the law, without witch hunting. And I want to assure members of the private media, to get after all, the reason that you, Brian, are here, the reason that there is people like the Kasakulas, they are there for the national service. We are all
but you
Malawians.
take us as your enemies when we tell you the truth.
No,
it's because you don't want to.
But because you exact, by the way, you don't make me angry.
No,
because,
no, you cannot. I don't make you angry.
You can make me angry.
No,
because you and the Kasakula are there to make sure that they become destroyed.
No, what you're missing the point. If there are people that you should part at the back, it's me and the Kasakula.
Okay,
because
fine.
we are telling you the truth.
Let me go back.
We are telling you the truth.
Let me go back.
Unless you don't want the truth.
Let me go back to the truth. Don't exaggerate. Understand? But let me go back to the truth. I will make sure that Makra make sure that they are good referees with integrity and fall within the confines of the law.
President Peter Mutharika is seen amongst the locals as a passive kind of a president. He rarely goes out. He rarely interacts with the people. Is that how you want him to operate as a president?
You have just told me that, oh, your president is having vehicles. Your president, you sat down and you said, you've just said. So the president said, look, on financial probity, on financial prudence, on physical discipline, the president must move when there is real things to do that. Now, today you're saying, no, he's passive. You want him today in Banda, tomorrow in Rumpi. Is that what you want?
No, but we want a kind of a leader who, when something happens, for example, we're talking of hunger, we are talking of medicines lacking in hospitals. When was the last time President Peter Mutharika visited a public hospital and to see how people are suffering?
Well, you just visited, you missed it, but I think it is incumbent upon us, the office of the president, to invite you times at least on presidential functions. I think I can understand now that while the president may have functions, but the Times has got to be invited so that you can bear witness to some of the activities having in your government.
Your government.
But you have said, let me answer.
Yes.
You have said the president is passive. You know what? Government is big business. It is the fine of all the finest arts. It is the trick of all the trigger business. It needs maturity, passion, integrity, education prowess, and wisdom. You cannot just rule a country by going out every day. There must be first to sit down. How best we can. For example, what you and me are doing, I think that helps the government to be on its choice and say, this is what the Malawians want. So the question of the president being passive.
He's not passive.
The word passive, withdraw the word passive.
I cannot withdraw that one.
Because it's wrong.
No.
Withdraw it.
No.
If we had a speaker who said, this man must be given 103, out of parliament. It's wrong, erroneous, impudence, impervious to call a president passive. You understand, young man?
You can intimidate me in whatever way you want, but I cannot be intimidated.
No, I'm telling you.
Yeah, but what you're trying to do is you're trying to intimidate me. And I'm just also telling
I'm
you, Honorable
giving you
Minister,
the right-
that you cannot intimidate
I
me.
want you to use the right etymological exactitude,
Yes.
the right phraseology to respect your own president. You must learn to respect your own president, your own head of state. It's not only my president, it's our president. So when you're addressing him, try, Malawi, to address and give him the respect he deserves. Is that correct?
President Peter Mutharika is also being accused to be lacking in decision making. Did it have to take the High Court in Nzuzu to suspend, to offer an injunction on Dr. on Dr. Chaponda over the Mezi saga?
What? Come again, what are you saying?
Did it have to take the court sitting in Nzuzu to give an injunction so that Dr. Chaponda should not function his duties as an agriculture minister over his involvement in the Mezi saga?
If the president you think has done nothing, was it not the same president that have instituted a commission of inquiry? Is that indecisiveness? Is not the president?
Where in the world did you institute a commission of inquiry and you let the people that are being accused of all sorts of things continue serving in their positions? Was it not logical to suspend Bwana Mulumbe at ADMA and Dr. Chaponda to allow smooth investigation?
Read, my friend, read.
Yes.
In 1974, when Edward Heath was prime minister,
Yes.
and there was the issue of Arthur Scargill and the coal mine strikes in the United Kingdom, he set up a commission of inquiry. And that commission of inquiry did not, while the minister for labor, the minister for public works, were told, I mean, they were not suspended. So there are circumstantial things that happen in the context of a minister being resigned. But I don't want to be a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a judge. Why don't we wait for the legal advice so that we be fair? Because the Constitution gives power to the judiciary to interpret the law. I do not want to enter into a field that is sacred and sanctified, and that is the cloud of our democracy.
Yeah, but how do you allow a commission of inquiry to operate when the people that are being accused of all sorts of things are holding to their
Can you recite the law that says when the commission of inquiry said this one should be fired? Do you have the law? Can you recite it for me so that I can advise my colleagues? Can you?
What is there between president?
No. Recite the law that expressly stipulates that in the composition of a commission of inquiry, you may not do ABCD, or you have to do ABCD.
Dignity.
Do you have
dignity.
Do you have that law?
Dignity calls upon
which dignity?
Matters of dignity.
Oh, and what is that?
If President Mutharika was so dignified in his thinking, or if Dr. Chaponda was dignified in his thinking, he could have said, let me pave way.
For example, the way you are dressed with your briefcase, you go to the bank and withdraw money. You are not man, and you are a dignified man, but you withdraw money that is not yours. Is that dignity? Is that what you mean?
How does that augur well with my question?
I just want to tell you that can you and me reserve things that are legal in nature so that in any case we give respect to the courts to interpret the law and give advice?
The assumption out there is that there are some people that President Peter Mutharika fears or he respects so much, so that even if they blunder, he cannot do anything to them. Is that a fair assumption? Is that a fair assumption?
Is that an assumption by you or the people?
By the people.
Whose people?
By the people. I talk to the people, when people call us, and we speak to all sorts of people.
Let me tell those people that leadership.
What is so special?
I mean, there's nothing special.
What is so special about George Chaponda?
I've just told you that there's nothing special.
Okay.
Do you have a pathological hatred of Dr. Chaponda?
No, I do not have.
Do you have a pathological hatred?
No.
What is your problem?
My problem is that I've just told you my problem. My problem is that it looks like there are some sacred cows in cabinet or in government.
There's no sacred. But it seems that you have an inherent inborn hatred against certain personalities in the government. Don't do that. By the way, I heard that you are a Christian and you are a pastor. You must refrain from having pathological hate.
Point of correction, I am not a pastor.
But you preach sometimes the word of
But
God.
that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, but you must practice.
But
what you
why
preach.
are we going that route?
Well, I want to.
Why are we going that route?
That's the moral background of a society.
Yes.
Because the church holds the conscience.
Yes.
So we can't go away. You want us to go away from the divine laws that are supreme? Is that what you are telling the people, that divine rules are useless? Is that what you're saying? And answer me.
Is President Mutharika caring about our concerns when we speak?
Extremely. And in fact, this program, he listens and listens to another program.
Okay.
In fact, that's why I'm asking you to be very fair to him. You know? Yeah, he listens. He's a president. He's a democratically elected president, including you is your president. Everybody. There might be certain people that want to dent the president's image. But by and large, as a head of state, it's you and me.
For many years now, you have been fighting with Honorable Davis Katsonga, the current member of parliament for Mwanza Central. Has the truce come now between you two, or you're still fighting?
Well, I have been. It's more personal, though. It's not a fighting between one person against the other. But let me tell you, Winston Leonard Spencer Churchill, at his Blenheim constituency, he lost 3 times. Charles de Gaulle lost 12 times. In politics, it's not how many times you have fallen down, but how many times you have realized you have fallen down and wake up. What is your question now? Answer me.
My question is, have you made amends with Honorable Davis Katsonga? If you meet him today, will you give him a handshake?
You know, there's a democracy, my friend.
Yes.
Democracy entails when there is an election.
Because I hear you two, you're still fighting.
No.
3 years after the elections, you are still fighting. Are you fighting?
No. You know what?
Yes.
Democracy entails when there is an election, there was I lost. I have great respect. I wish him all the best. We meet over a cup of tea and say, my friend, congratulations.
So you want to tell this television that you meet over a cup of tea with Honorable Davis Katsonga?
No problem. But
Yes.
I must say,
Yes.
after 5 years,
Yes.
it's not a crime for me to contest, because that's my constitution.
So to answer my last question in the program, are you running in 2019 as a member of parliament?
Let's see when you reach the river then. Until we reach the river Rubicon, but let's wait and see. In politics, every day is like a new year.
There are so many people watching us tonight that have given hope on this government. The impression that have given hope, that have lost hope on this government.
You started well, giving hope. Yes, go ahead.
That have lost
giving hope.
That have lost hope with this government. The impression is that this government cares less about their concerns.
Do you know what?
Can I just finish?
Yes.
I want you to give you 2 minutes. What message do you have for Malawians as far as this government is concerned? The concern is that this government doesn't care about the poor people. That this government takes time to make decisions when something has happened. This government raises maize at a time when it is needed most.
Malawians must know that transformational leadership creates some birth pangs. Transformational leadership is seen to do something business unusual. There are matters of reform that are taking place, and this government takes cognizance of the welfare of Malawians at heart. And there are programs that are there. Let me quote what the Holy Father, Pope Paul VI, said in his encyclical letter called Populorum Progressio, of the development of the people. That people must have the basics. But to do that, there must be hard work. They must work hard in their various endeavors. So this government would request you, the venerable journalists, to also inculcate in the spirit of the people the spirit of hard work, patriotism, integrity. But also, you must have delivery program. Encourage people to plant maize.
How can local people inculcate the culture of hard work, integrity, and whatever you're telling, when you cabinet ministers, when the government is not living by an example? Time is not our best ally. I want to assure Malawians
that this government takes care of you, but we appreciate the advice that we get from the journalists. We appreciate the sentiments that are uttered. As government, we have to listen, because as Benjamin Franklin once said, every man I've met in my life has been superior to me in one way or the other. Your advice, your criticism, your opinion are a source of strength to this government. And we want to see that...
There you go again, contradicting yourself.
Yeah,
when me and George Gasagula speaks,
No,
you
no.
attack us to the bone. What
I
kind of
want to
advice
assure-
do you want?
I want to assure Malawians...
What kind of advice do you want?
I want to assure Malawians
Yes.
that we will make sure that cognizance of those good opinion and good suggestion on the plan, the government will thrive. After all, we are all for the service of the common.
Honorable Minister, time is not our best ally. We wish we had more time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. But I want to assure you that you used to be a good journalist, Brian, but these days you have gone weird. But where's George, by the way? Greet him and tell him that we wish him well. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Thank you.
And this is how we conclude this week's edition of Times Exclusive. In this edition of the program, I've been talking to the Honorable Minister of Information, Communication and Technology, the Honorable Nicholas Dausi. My name is Brian Banda. From all of us here at Times headquarters in Banda, thank you very much for joining us, and goodbye.